Minneapolis, just 1 month ago, a 100-year-old man was backing out of the grocery store parking lot and hit 3 adults and 11 children with his car. Unfortunately, accidents like this are all too common among the elderly. The road is a hostile environment and can be surprisingly difficult for anyone to drive who isn't in top physical shape. Due to mobility, reflex, and visual deterioration, elderly people driving are dangerous. As people grow older, their mobility decreases quite a lot. 37.5% of people over the age of 65 have major mobility limitations. Deterioration in mobility can entail arthritis in joints, decreased ability to stretch or bend, and less energy to perform physical activities. These issues can have devastating effects when it comes to driving. Arthritis in joints and decreased ability to stretch or bend can affect a driver's ability to look over their shoulder, which is an essential part of being a safe driver. As any seasoned driver knows, you have to be able to look over your shoulder to switch lanes, merge onto the highway, or pull out of any sort of driveway. This also makes turning and quickly turning the steering wheel a much harder task than someone without degeneration or mobility. Losing this function directly results in a higher chance of getting into a car accident. Full mobility is vital to being a safe driver. Another alarming effect of old age is slower reflex speed. As you get older, the nerve fibers in your brain change, which slows down the speed of the connection, and coupled with parts of the brain losing cells involved in motor control, results in slower reflexes. Sensory systems become less acute, slowing reflexes even more. It is an unfortunate but unavoidable aspect of growing old. Slower reflexes are extremely dangerous because it can affect your reaction time, in turn affecting how fast a driver is able to brake. For example, if a small child were to run out into the road or a car were to suddenly stop, fast reflexes are essential in order to avoid impending collision. If one of these incidents were to occur in front of an elderly driver, they may not be physically capable of braking quickly enough to prevent an accident. Slower reflexes make elderly drivers a danger behind the wheel. The final and perhaps most debilitating danger of an elderly driver is decreasing in vision. 98% of people over the age of 65 wear glasses, and this age group makes up 90% of the people who are blind or partially blind. As you grow older, your vision is extremely affected. With age, the cornea's smooth surface is often damaged, which is one of the main causes of poor vision. The lens of the eyeball is also easily affected by age. As we grow older, the lens can clog up and become less pliable, which in turn causes cataracts and makes it harder to focus on individual objects. With so much of the eye being affected by old age, it gets harder for the eye to adjust to different levels of light. On top of this, with old age comes a loss of contrast sensitivity, meaning it's harder to make out separate objects in the dark. These things combined make driving at night nearly impossible for elderly people once their eyes start to lose full ability. Depth perception is also affected with age. This makes it especially difficult to gauge the distance between different objects where there are areas of shadow, low light, or excessive brightness. This is extremely dangerous when driving because people who don't have good depth perception have trouble figuring out how close other objects are to their car. With the lens and cornea deterioration, it makes it more difficult to distinguish between red and yellow lights. This is especially a problem when driving due to traffic lights. Imagine the potential devastation if an elderly driver thinks that a red light is still yellow. To add insult to injury, elderly people have a far higher level of eye disease than any other group, affecting approximately 1/3 of the elderly population. Glaucoma and macular degeneration being the two most common diseases. A considerable amount of the population over the age of 65 has some kind of visual impairment, but has left it untreated due to personal choice or simply because they are unaware they have it. Deterioration of the eye is perhaps the most dangerous aspect of having elderly drivers due to all the different areas of driving it can affect. Elderly people are not only a risk to themselves, They are also a risk to the rest of the population when they put themselves behind the wheel of a car. However, this is through no fault of their own. It is simply due to deterioration of their mobility, reflexes, and eyesight. This combination makes it unsafe for elderly people to drive.